Hey guys, so I've been working on the Korean Deathmatch Civ overview, and I've been looking at the Elite Turtle Ship in depth, and I thought that I would probably include this with the Korean Civ overview, but I found some pretty interesting stuff about the Elite Turtle Ship, and I think that it's a unit that has some really interesting aspects to it. So I made this video to take a look at its finer points. So when looking at a unique naval unit, you're going to need to first look at how it's going to perform against the basic naval units. So I did a couple of tests using the Elite Turtle Ship versus the Galleon. Now looking at the stats of the two ships doesn't tell us a whole lot because you have to look at hidden bonus damages, and you have to look at firing rates, and all this stuff that's kind of complicated to look at. However, there are a couple things I want to point out. First is that the Elite Turtle Ship has almost twice as much health, but a lot less range. It also costs twice as much wood and 6 times as much gold. So let's look at a 1v6 where the same amount of gold was spent. As you can see, the Galleons obviously win and win by a lot. However, in a 3v6, where the same amount of wood is used, the turtle ships win easily. What this means is that in situations, say on team islands or something like that, where wood is scarce, you're way better to go with the elite turtle ships. However, if gold is a higher priority, the Galleons are going to be at a huge advantage. But what about a situation where the resources aren't really what matters? I did a 2v6, and it turned out that the turtle ships came out a little bit on top. This means that if you're fighting against the Koreans, you need to take fights where you have at least 3 times as many Galleons as they have turtle ships. I redid all the tests, except for with twice the amount of units, and found the exact same results. I even did another test where there were 4 times as many Galleons as there were turtle ships, and it found that the Galleons did come up on top. Another comparison to be made is against the heavy demo ship. One thing to notice is that while the demo costs a little bit more than 1/4 as much gold, it only takes 3 demos to destroy 1 turtle ship. However, this is in a setting with only 1 turtle ship. You could see that when the same amount of gold is spent on demos as on turtle ships, the turtle ships are destroyed easily. I didn't even bother to do a test using the same amount of wood. Now, I'm not going to examine each civilization's galleys, but just know that demo ship is an excellent choice when you're trying to counter elite turtle ships. And this really comes as no surprise to me, because the demo ship is probably my favorite ship on the water. However, I think that many players seem to say that galleys are your only option, and I don't think that that's true. However, I am going to look at a few other unique ships, such as the Elite Longboat and the Elite Caravel. Right off the bat, you can notice that the Elite Longboat costs the same amount of gold as a heavy demo ship, so you could probably use the same amount of numbers when trying to test for that resource. And something really interesting that you find is that when you use the same amount of gold on Elite Longboats and Elite Turtle Ships, the Turtle Ships vastly outperform the Longboats, which is something I was not expecting. In this matchup, if the Turtle Ship is cost efficient using gold as a metric, it's definitely going to be very cost efficient using wood as a metric. However, when going up against Vikings as Koreans, I want to give you a few cautionary words of advice. The first one is that the Vikings already have excellent galleons, and the second one is that the Elite Turtle Ship is way slower than those longboats. So if a Viking player sees your longboats, he's probably just going to try to ignore them. The next unit to look at is the Elite Caravel. Right off the bat, you can tell that it costs half as much wood as the Elite Turtle Ship. And unsurprisingly, in a 2v1 matchup, the Turtle Ship dominates. It's not even close. I repeated the test using 10 times the numbers because the Caravels have a scorpion-like projectile, in that it will damage multiple enemies. However, the results were still that the turtle ship was cost-effective. This was even with the turtle ships not always firing and having to try to find their way due to Caravels from the back being the ones that they try to target. However, when I used the same amount of gold instead of wood as a metric, the Caravels came out vastly on top. So I hope you can see a pattern here. If wood is more important than gold, the elite turtle ships are at an advantage. If gold is more important than wood, other units would be a better choice. And, as always, use those demo ships. Thanks for watching.